What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part lucky number 13 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Arkhan the Black campaign. So as we saw last time, King Jocht engaged the forces of the Ironbrow's expedition outside of Qatar, fighting a full dwarven stack and coming out ahead, though not without losses, at least not without major losses. We are still viable and will probably have to use this army to defend both against Volkmar and against Tic-Tac-Toe, which are looking like they're going to beat the Drakenhof Conclave relatively soon. Maybe siege, maybe sack, maybe raise, maybe occupy, it doesn't really matter, but this is going to be good for us as these places are all places that we want to own. I am a little bit concerned about you, Tenkwok, however, as clearly the AI is moving him this way. I actually can't tell quite which way he's moving, but it does look like he's heading towards our sparsely defended territories. So we're going to need to intercept him. Probably with King Jocht or King Araru. Either one should be fine. In fact, Jocht, here's what we'll do. We're going to cancel this in order to move you a little bit further out this way. Then we're going to pop you into Entomb Beneath the Sands. Like so. Then what we'll do... Let me just think about this for a second. Yes, okay. Okay, we're going to merge the rest of these skeleton spears. And we're going to delete one. Then we're going to get you a couple, maybe not ringers, but at least slightly more powerful units. Let's get you a couple zombie-powered gunnery mobs with hand cannons for the damage output. That we'll have to be careful as their leadership is shockingly low, and I can't let them be charged by anything. But they should still function fairly well against dwarfs and whatnot. Then, next turn we're gonna pop the Great Incantation of Tahoff, which has one turn remaining, and get this Casket of Souls into King Jocht's army rather than Arkhan's. Yes, Arkhan could use it, and King Sanaa could probably use it as well with all of his range buffs, but we need King Jocht's army to be able to function by itself right now. The other option is to not put it in Jocht's army, but give him a couple mortars instead. And then he wouldn't have the hand cannons. But then at least we could benefit more units here. Do we have access to carronades? Wait. Chat, while we're out of curiosity, we do have access to carronades. Oh, but they take 2 turns to recruit. If it wasn't for that, then I would definitely do this right now, but we don't have 2 turns for you to just sit there doing nothing. Granted, we do have Wisdom of the Second Dynasty coming up. You know what? Keep, I think, the hand cannons for now. And I'm gonna think about this. You know what? Just get the Skeleton Spear extra unit for now. Maybe we don't pop the Incantation of Tahoth here necessarily. But we can always delete the extra Skeleton Spear if we want to. Alrighty, well that's decided for you. Araru, you're also good, and we're gonna hope that this actually works out and doesn't get bugged. We can actually do the same thing with you and join these units together. And yeah, we lose a veterancy, but frankly, it's worth it. There you go. Better. We can't replace any of these right now. Actually, speaking of replacing units, we probably do want the ability to access stuff up front, as in to the north here, without going through global recruitment. So you know what, we're gonna build a Grave Hill right here in Gorgazan, and then we'll build the other building, not the Grave Hill, but the Skeleton Warriors and Tomb Guard building in Agrul Migdal, so that these places can build up military if they need to, or if they suffer losses. We need to have military buildings pretty much everywhere at this point, and Khemri doesn't have them at the current time, mostly because we're waiting for it to level up, and it'll be full of pyramids and stuff, so we may never have the opportunity to build too many. Anyway, that, I believe, is that. Let's move Hetakor rather, closer to Karagarud. I want to see what's going on here, because it is under siege, and I need to know who's sieging it. Up here, we have Itabam, who is no longer of any use, because we found Vlad last episode. And just while we're here, Vlad, what do you want for a defensive alliance? Minus 15. Okay, he's not doing that. At least not yet. Let's get a little bit friendlier. Maybe he'll lose an army or two, and then we'll try to go for it. Then what we'll do is, since we're building up an army here, we're gonna pop it into Lashik because we have access to the ghost units and the vampiric, well, I guess they're all vampiric units, but you know what I mean. Here, and there is another wise guy Cunning, tough, fleet-footed. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for the wise guy again. Just temporarily. We'll replace him later on, but more canopic jars is still more canopic jars. Like so. Ugh, if only we could start recruiting them at level 10 directly instead of level 9. That would just be swell. Need to look into techs or something that gives us access to that. Anyway, that looks good to me. Now, anybody else need to do anything? Buildings, we are saving the money because we need to upgrade the Kofar Harbor next turn, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, and defenses at Kofar as well. There's also that Skull Island that is right there. All that pyramid money just sitting there for us to take. Alrighty, well, I believe that's all we can do for now. Well, let's go next turn. We need to be careful about overextending up north, though, because we can't defend what we currently have. Not with the relatively weak armies that we currently have. Only Arkhan can basically beat anything that he runs into. Everybody else would have to really work for it, especially the pretty insane garrisons that are available to the Khornate faction. They are so much better than ours. I'm actually just wanting to take a look at the garrisons in a few seconds here. And once this ends, alrighty, there we go. Wisdom the Second Dynasty is up and running. Lovely. Which means we're immediately going to unlock Rakash of the Second Dynasty as Special Lord, who gives us an extra 2 control in all provinces, which frankly, we really need right now. So Rakash, you're coming up. Next up, Arkhan, you... Ooh. We can't hit both by the looks of it. If we move to Malagor, we won't be able to hit Agrul Migdal. Okay, just ignore Malagor, screw it. I'd rather go here. So this is what I was talking about. Agrul Migdal, the minor settlement alone gives them a blood shrine to spawn a cultist, 4 units of Chaos Warriors, and a couple Chaos Furies. Whereas our garrison, just to take a look here, 3 Skeleton Archers, absolutely useless against armor, so do nothing to those Chaos Warriors of Khorne. And Hekar Warriors and Hekar Horsemen, similar sort of situation. At least give us some Tomb Guard at level 3. 1 Tomb Prince, 1 Tomb Guard, there we go. And 1 Screaming Skull Catapult. Yeah, if we put the garrison of our minor settlement in a direct conflict with the garrison of their minor settlement, they could probably defeat ours with, like, 3/4 or maybe even half the units that they get. Pretty big disparity. Long story short, I am jealous of their garrisons. But I guess they do have hats, so, you know, that's why. Alrighty, now, we are going to obviously attack this, though we may not necessarily have to do it with Arkhan alone. We could march King Sanakt up here in march stance. Like so. And you know what? Maybe we'll send him up to Sunken Kernark right after. So as long as you're in range, let's say here, to help out, then we can send you to Sunken Kernark and then to take Galbaraz. We might raise Sunken Kernark because we don't necessarily want to or can hold it at the current time. Though then again, the enemy will probably have a tough time moving through these marshes. Marshes, rather. Only something to think about. We'll be able to see the enemy coming up from a mile away. Though if we take Galbaraz, but we don't take Stormhenge or Granty Mingal, well, we'll have to think about those. The problem is they're so exposed and we'd have so much territory up here that we probably would have an issue holding it. Anyway, Agrul Migdal is what we'll be doing in a few seconds. Just want to make sure that we move everybody else around first. King Araru and King Jokt. Let's figure out where you're going. I don't like where you're going. Alrighty, Araru, you can go pretty far with a march stance, almost to the Black Pyramid of Nagash. Where can you go, Jokt? You can't go nearly as far. Yeah, alright, fine. Araru, let's send you to the Black Pyramid. I wonder if you'd be able to reach El Kalabad from there. By the looks of it, you will, alright. So let's do this. I don't think any of them can take the Black Pyramid unless they have a full stack, which they obviously don't. So you're gonna go here. Yeah, there's no way they're taking that. But El Kalabad, with its garbage garrison, easy take. And oh, hey, wait, this guy, oh, he actually moved away from this Damn it. I didn't realize, my bad. So he was facing this way last turn, but now he seems to have wandered away. Though I suppose Tic Tac is facing this way as well. And it's not like he's gonna attack the Cult of Sigmar, who they're very friendly with. Alright, well, we'll see. Oh, for the love of another dwarf army. Okay, King Jock, that'll be for you to deal with. Let's put you into... Assuming that King Araru deals with this, and I imagine that he should be able to, we can put Jock somewhere in the middle here. Like so that he can go both to the Springs of Eternal Life, if Volkmar tries to move up here, or back to Qatar, if this guy does. I think what we also probably want to do is... Oh, I was about to say, get ready to build the pyramid, but we won't have enough money yet. Alright, Kofor Harbor. Then, you, new army. Master of Ceremony now, just get King Oyas back up and running. You are here. I bet that there's nothing in the first portion of the blue tree to increase the recruitment. But anyway, you need an army as fast as we can possibly get. So we're going to start with Cairn Wraiths and Crypt Horrors aplenty. We will continue with Crypt Ghouls, also aplenty, or at least as many as we can build, and then Dire Doggos. This will take 3 turns alone, and... I guess what we'll do is we'll also build a couple of global recruitment spears, like so. Just so that this army can move quick. We don't really need the bats, and we can build the wolves up north as well. So if this takes 4 turns, we can actually build a lot of doggos. Okay, you know what? 1 less spear, 1 more doggo. There we go. That actually... Oh, this will take 5 turns. Okay, no, we're not waiting 5 turns. That's too long. Well, let's go another spear then. Wait, the spear also takes 5... I selected it in the wrong place, because I'm an idiot. Never forget that I'm an idiot. Alrighty, Skeleton Spear, there we go. Now you should be able to move in 4 turns, and this should be good enough, I think, to move out towards the Skull Reef, and take that and fund our pyramid. Granted, that'll be in 4 turns, so we don't need to delete anything here as yet, though I am still tempted to get the Legionary Barrage or the Tower of Bone here. We need to pop the Incantation of Tahat first. I guess an extra turn won't make much of a difference, but it might here in Qatar, as we might not need to constantly defend it from the dwarfs. You know what, fine. Let's get the Legionary Barrage here first, as a priority. And we'll go Incantation of Talhath right after, into one of these armies, depending on who needs to do what. I bet you can't go directly into the Black Pyramid, because you're not healing at all. Why are you not healing at all? In our own territory. Outside of the Black Pyramid, which should just be feeding you necromantic energy. Odd. Is there something wrong with your army? I'm just wondering why. Is it to do with the march stance? But I think others are healing. You're healing an ambush right now in our own territory. Well, regardless. Annoying, but nothing we can do about it for now. Let's see about Arkhan. It's time for you to attack, my friend. Should be a decently easy take. Wait. After we apply your skill points, my bad. And you have Arrows of Asaph. Let's get you returned in Madness, then we'll pop Unyielding. After that for your personal power-ups. But Arkhan, it's time for you to attack now. Alright, we'll do this cinematically, obviously. It's a fairly decent garrison, and we will have to actually work through it, so here we go. Alrighty, Arkhan doesn't seem to want to give a speech this time around either. Man, I don't know why. It's been happening a lot lately. Maybe I need to verify file integrity or something like that. I want to hear their little mini speeches. Anyway, here we go. Once again, we attack the Exiles of Khorne, and they have pretty darn good garrisons, as I was already saying, but in this particular situation, I'm talking about the fact that it's a very balanced army. Like, it's a nice stack. If we we were to take this army out on the field, I would absolutely love to use a stack like this. They've got 7 Chaos Warriors of all different varieties, shields and dual axes and halberds, a pair of Chaos Spawn, then the Blood Shrine to buff everybody up and provide additional infantry milling, and then we have 3 Bloodletters of Khorne, as well as a couple of Furies as well to hit the ranged units and harass them. Now we are going to take some time to start this battle off because the enemy does have towers, and on top of that we got 5 minutes until the reinforcements arrive. That said, Arkhan's gonna move in by himself to start annoying the enemy as best he can, and it looks like the Furies are gonna try to drop down upon him. I guess they're jealous of the fact that his chariot can also fly, and oh damn, they're dropping quickly. Surprisingly quickly, in fact. I guess the splash damage from the chariot is quite intense on a weaker unit like these Furies, and finally Arkhan gets to play around on his own rather than relying on everybody else to do the work. Plus we did keep him on the chariot so that he could get individual model kills rather than be a duelist, so I guess this works out in this particular situation. I do wish he'd have a few more magical-looking attacks when he's on top of the chariots, but he does occasionally blast them with his staff. There you go. Keeps alternating sides. There we go. Alrighty, and just like that, with these zombies helping out a little bit, Arkhan has forced at least one of these units to rout. He's also going to repeatedly summon zombies and skeleton warriors up here, mostly so that our bombardment from our caskets of not caskets yet, of soul can continue. That said, the zombies by themselves are really not holding a long time, but at the very least, with the deaths of these, or the banishment, I guess demons don't really die, the banishment of all of these Furies, we will be safe in terms of both our ranged units as well as our artillery. Gonna get a Wind of Death going through the enemy, and surprisingly didn't do all that much damage. I guess these Chaos Warriors of Khorne are far too heavily armored and spell resistant on top of that for the spell to be as obnoxious as it once was. That said, the zombies and skeleton warriors have died enough now so that we can summon our Ushabti and do a little bit more damage. Granted, the Ushabti will die fairly quickly, I expect, but once again, the bombardment shall continue, and we gotta do something while we wait for the reinforcements to arrive. Mainly the archers are going to be needed here, but also the 2 units of mortars to gun down the enemy towers. It takes way too long to gun down a tower with a Casket of Souls, as its accuracy is just too low. Might be a reason to get a couple Screaming Skull Catapults in Arkhan's personal army as well. Especially as it'll be a long time before we can get a second Casket of Souls. Anyway, Ushabti continue to do work, but are now starting to melt away, but every extra shot with a Casket of Souls counts. If we could land a nice shot right in the middle of this, wouldn't that just be swell? Alrighty, but the summoning will continue as well, and it looks like the enemy's also moved some Bloodletters in to fight Arkhan, and we've also brought our White King and our Tomb Prince out to play as well, just to help them out. If these guys want to feed their units into our heroes like this, well, we may as well take advantage. Otherwise, the reinforcements are here in a minute. Arkhan is a little bit hurt, but he's not healed at all yet, so we can heal him back up to full with tremendous ease. Alrighty, and that's about it for the summons. The reinforcements are nearly there, and with this unit of Bloodletters already in banishment, we can simply move away and allow them to disappear. Alrighty, get a few more volleys out of our Casket of Souls, rather, and then we'll stop it and wait for the reinforcements to arrive. Alright, well, we softened up the enemy targets. They've lost about a little over 200 troops, which isn't too bad, especially considering their coordinate troops. A full unit of Bloodletters gone, and a lot of their Chaos Warriors halved. Probably not a lot of models dead. Huh, actually, decent amount. 16 models lost from this unit of Chaos Warriors of Khorne. Not too bad at all. And damn those stats. This is not in a Lord's army either. That's 60 melee defense and 59 melee attack, and that's out of the range of the Blood Shrine as well. Leadership and vigor loss, eh? And Shrine of Eternal Blood, melee attack plus 10, and armor-piercing weapon damage plus 15. Quite nice. Alrighty, well, we're gonna continue at full speed until our mortars do what they need to do, which in this case is going to be bombarding this particular tower, which is the only tier 3 tower that the enemy has. It does have another tier 1 and tier 2, but they're obviously a little bit less critical. Oh, and our Eyes of the Desert, together with our heroes, are gonna move up as well. We may as well take this minor supply location, and if we can, maybe even try to hunt down the enemy lord. Looks like these guys are going to stand there, taking shotgun blasts to the shield. Kind of neat how they, how the impacts of those shots go into the shields there. Looks like they're dissipating the force as the units are getting knocked back, but not knocked down. Granted, this is a little bit of a waste of the ammunition, and would probably be better off using it on the, bloodletters, but nonetheless, you can get a few shots in there. Yeah, it's really not doing any damage by the looks of it. At least too little. Armor-piercing missile, and it is armor-piercing, mind you. It's just not enough. Well, once again, I did say that we would have quite a bit of trouble with the forces of Khorne, like the dwarfs, because of all the armor that they have, so it's hardly surprising. On the bright side, though, we do have some units that can deal with the heavily armored, and those are our hat wraiths, which will be moving in to try to work on these poor units of Chaos Warriors, who are still out here pretty much alone and supported only by a single unit of Bloodletters. Alrighty, and let's just speed it back up until we're ready to charge while letting our mortars move in. Looks like the Bloodletters are going to charge as well, or try to countercharge, but we're going to summon zombies in their way just so that they don't apply their magical damage to our hat wraiths as their vulnerabilities. Gotta rock, paper, scissors it. And well, if it isn't the enemy lord, or cultist of Khorne, whatever, but lord of the army. Kind of interesting that he's far less armor than the regular Chaos Warriors of Khorne. And considering how hatless he is, we don't really fear him at all. Alrighty, let's see. Yeah, we're going to take some time to kill these units. Obviously, the Bloodletters are just going to be held in place here, although the White King, I'm sure, can dish out some damage. Nice to watch the White King go to work as well. There we go, swing away, and keep wasting your Bloodletter attacks on our zombies. And with the armor sundering debuff, they're only 8 armor, so even the zombies might be doing some damage to them. Yeah, 2.5k, not too bad for a free summoned unit, or a cheap summoned unit, at the very least. More zombies moving in, and now the Chaos Warriors are surrounded here, and the Cultist of Khorne is running away, having been defeated by the Tomb Prince as well. So that's one unit out, and soon we will move towards the rest of these Bloodletters. Alrighty, and we're just gonna continue healing up. Arkhan's already past half HP, and we'll continue healing. Obviously, every cast also pops that blood curse. No, wait, something of undeath. Curse of undeath? Yeah, curse of undeath. Close enough to heal everybody up. Though I guess it doesn't heal Arkhan, but we just heal him, and then it'll heal nearby units. I just gotta make sure we use the Overcast Invocation of Nehek on both Arkhan and our lords and heroes. Alrighty, it looks like the enemy Chaos Warriors are out. Arkhan's gonna charge into those Bloodletters, and actually it looks like he knocked quite a few out with his chariot. Very nice. And there we go, enough charges for the Bloodletters to start melting away as well. Arkhan doing a little dance for us. Alright, just a few more hits. I do like the contrast of Arkhan's purple, undeathy glow as compared to the red glow of the skies and the surrounding territory, though I do wish that it matched his Hex rates and his Cairn rates when we get those. Too bad that they're not recolored to be of the same color scheme as Arkhan. That'd be pretty neat. I feel like it would probably be something easy to Something easy to make a separate motto. But anyway, that is that for those units, and now we're going to move into the city. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. We have knocked down the first of the enemy towers, though there is still a piercing tower piercing away and firing on our skeletons. We obviously don't really care so much about the skeletons' HP, and I'm sure that they will heal up as we go as well. Now it looks like we'll be fighting under some bridges here, as the enemy is going to move 3 units of Chaos Warriors of Khorne and the Blood Shrine to buff them up. So this is probably where the battle will be decided. Surprisingly, not by the ranged units just arrowing everybody down, but I'll take it. And this makes the battle a little bit more fun than just watching our ranged units go to work for the entire time. Alright, Tomb Prince charging in, and the White King following suit as well. Here comes Arkhan, though the enemy probably has too much mass for him to get a good, solid charge in. That said, zombies come up, and so do skeleton warriors to distract the enemy. The Blood Shrine is obviously going to be the key target here, and our units of both the Sepulchral Stalkers and the Hex Wraiths are going to try to target it as best they can. Now, it looks like the Sepulchral Stalkers are pushing it back, which may not necessarily be such a good thing, as it will push them and deeper into the enemy battle lines as well. Alright, come on, apply your anti-large there. And our Lords and Heroes are going to try to do the same thing. In fact, it might have been beneficial to have waited a little bit, and I regret not doing this, for the Sepulchral Stalkers to just sit back and wait for the Blood Shrine to do what it's doing now, essentially. Allow it to go deeper into our own battle lines by virtue of the animations pushing it forward. It may not go as far as something like a Tomb Scorpion will, but it's good enough. And there we go. Now it is not nearly as supported. And we can simply summon more zombies to get into the enemy's way while we surround the Blood Shrine. Though it is hard to keep the camera on it. Alrighty, and it does look like a few of our Sepulchral Stalkers have dropped by virtue of the fact that they're in the middle of the enemy lines by 2 so far. And they've lost a decent amount of HP, so we'll be getting some invocations in the heck on them as well. The Crypt Ghoul is moving in to apply poison. We are going to be keeping the Hat Wraiths back, however, at least while the Blood Shrine is there, because it does do magical damage, and I don't want them to get too badly hurt by it. White King and Tomb Prince still chasing this thing down, and it's still doing its spin to win. Yeah, I can't do too much about the camera angles here, because it just goes up because of the walls. Man, taking quite a long time to defeat this this Blood Shrine here, and I guess to some degree the enemy melee troops as well, but we're obviously not nearly as focused on them, and our zombies and skeletons do block some of our own units from trying to get it. Alright, Tomb Prince and the Sepulchral Stalkers have finally forced it to go into banishment. And we probably did a good job at trying to hold us in this particular choke point here. I suppose what we could have also done to make this fight a little bit easier was to have advanced the rest of the army forward instead of just waiting for us to finish the battle here. Advance them forward, lined up the skeleton archers up here, and then just fired down on the enemy. Well, it looks like the Blood Shrine is down, and now the Hex Wraiths move in, and we'll be adding a lot of additional damage to the fray here. Now that they're not afraid of actually getting badly damaged themselves by the enemy's magical attacks, which they completely lack in these Chaos Warriors. Definitely gonna have to be careful about such units when we have a lot more Cairn Wraiths and stuff, though I still am not entirely sure what the final sort of army look is going to look like for Arkhan. Other than the fact that he's gonna have at least 4 Hex Wraiths. And obviously the Whites of Stonewrath Tarn, because they're his own unit. Though I don't remember how many of them you can field, as in how many you're allowed to field, and if there's any way to increase the numbers. Honestly, for some of the special units that you get from the pyramids, ah, damn you, camera. For some of the special units, I feel like there shouldn't even be like a limit on them, like the Xandri Black Shields or the Bright Shields. think there's a black shields and a bright shield. Yeah, for both of them, so they're just like slightly stronger versions of Nehekar warriors, or slightly stronger versions of skeleton warriors and spears. Considering it's a slightly stronger version of a tier 1 unit and remains with like 20 armor and pretty messed stats, I really don't think that it's very necessary to limit them to 4 or whatever the possible number is. At least that's the way it was the last time I played Arkhan. It would be nice if we could build as many as we wanted. I would understand keeping a relatively low the number of units like the Sepulchrex, the special Ushabti units, or the Tomb King units, but not the basic skeleton warriors and Nehekara and Nehekara warriors. Especially as they'll be completely useless past the mid-game. Anyway, it looks like we've destroyed the rest of the enemy there. There are still a few more units on the field, namely a spawn of Khorne, and 2 spawn of Khorne actually, and the Chaos Warriors here, and some Bloodletters as well. We have moved in over here, and our ranged units are going to rip apart some more Chaos Warriors, with the help of both our mortars and our, I keep wanting to say Screaming Skull Catapults, Casket of Souls. And let's just watch the range units get at least 1 unit, since we've been doing all melee this time around. And that damn tower is still firing. I was hoping to avoid that by just capturing this point, but they did move these warriors to protect it. And there we go. And now they probably don't know what to do. If they march forward, they get hit. If they run away, the bombardment will destroy them over time. And there's a lot of range units looking at them. On the bright side, at least doing it like this should keep our casualties extremely minimal, which is why we're doing this as a systematic fight, as opposed to sort of like quick fight where we just charge the enemy. Yeah, we could have won that way, but then we would have been so damaged that we wouldn't be able to go on and would need to stay here and heal. And especially with the lower level healing in SFO, not something that we can take right now. Yeah, looks like these Chaos Warriors of Khorne just going to refuse to fight. There's a few more enemies fighting on this side, namely the Chaos Warriors and this last spawn, but the Chaos Warriors are routing, and I do believe the chain route is here, so it's just a matter of killing off this one last big boy. And both of our lord, or both of our heroes rather, Arkhan isn't here, together with, oh, there he is now, popping up. Together with the Sepulchral Stalkers, who I believe have been healed up basically to full. Yep, they're at 20 units now. Should be able to kill this thing just fine. It looks like it's trying to chase somebody off. And then it got annoyed and started knocking skeleton units around, and down goes Big Boy, and the battle is finally ours. Took a little bit of time, granted, but I think we avoided a lot of casualties and should be viable to continue on and hopefully destroy the exiles. Alrighty, was hoping for a bigger cash reward for that, but oh well. The losses were fairly negligible, around 10%, and we didn't even have to commit Arkhan's wolves or his tomb guard. A little bit of damage on the ghouls, but otherwise I'm happy with the result, even if it did take longer than ideal. We're going to occupy the place and get a little bit more of those canopic jars. We do need 500 to get that pyramid technology after all. And Arkhan, you're going to go away from this stance and go back to normal. There we go, and ooh, Agrul Migdal has a desert lookout to start with. Well, that's just lovely. We're going to immediately build a charnel plaza here as well, and that'll allow us to move a little bit further. Unfortunate that you're going to suffer attrition, but hopefully it's not going to do enough damage for you to be concerned. As in, I'm hoping that we can still take Sunken Kurnock with you without having Arkhan needing to intercede. You, Hetakor, are going to move around here. Let's keep an eye on what's going on. There is a small stack there, and Malagor is still somebody to be annoyed about. I do wonder where he's going to go. Can he take Numas by himself? Maybe. A little bit concerned about Numas now. I mean, it would be easy to move back and retake it, but it would be unfortunate to have to do so. We'll see exactly how Malagor reacts. Unfortunately, once again, with the garrison as weak as it is... And again, he is also at half HP, and his melee defense and armor are quite low. As long as we have the archers, even in their small numbers, firing at them, they should be able to bring him down. Just gotta watch out for his Viletide spam. The Beastman roar, take out Trickster Shard. Well, you know what? Either way, it's not like we can do anything about this. Oh! Wait, he can summon... He can already summon Cygors, but he didn't do that before. Huh. Uses 2, 15 range, duration 1 second, cooldown 90 seconds, summoned units degrade over time, yada 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 yada. Why didn't he use this when we fought him? Well, that's just strange. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens if we need to fight him again. Now, let's see what we gotta do the rest of this turn. Actually, there isn't anything that we gotta do the rest of this turn unless I'm mistaken. Let's double check Diplo, however.
One rug.
Brakazul, we don't care about you right now. Mountain Eaters, similar situation. Sylvania working on you. And the Drowned they are ready for a defensive alliance. Do we want to get one? They have lost their army by the looks of it. They'll probably not survive, but we could help them survive by giving them the defensive alliance, because it would allow us to build a slight power-up via the outpost there. And, ooh, yes, I forgot about this. Ally missions. Kairos Fate Weaver. Huh. Oh. Huh, looks like Kairos is here. Or himself, not one of his minion lords. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know how we're going to react to that. What else do we have here? Azariah Flesh Monster, you're a little bit far away from us. Urkathal, I don't know whether we can reach you. And Malagor, similar situation. I'm not entirely sure whether it's worth it to go after you when we have to keep up the momentum. You know what? I'm 90% sure Kairos is going for us. Let's go for Kairos. And the same thing could be true of Tic-Tac-Toe and this little army here. Let's do this army as well. Something like that. Alrighty, and then one more turn until we can start building those black coaches. Ooh. And we could, in fact, build them here instead, which would... We'd have to cancel a Crypt Horror. I mean, we wouldn't have to cancel a Crypt Horror, but if we were to cancel a Crypt Horror and you... might be able to do this in 3 turns, which would be lovely. These only take 2 turns to recruit. Well, we'll look into it in a second. Or in few seconds, most likely. Hetekor, Ibiamos, you I don't need to do anything with, and I believe we're good. Well, let's end the turn. Wait. What about peace? Just to check here. Alright, the Drowned thing. Harbinger of Disaster is willing to peace out, but he probably doesn't want to lose his main territory. You know what? Let's do this. It's not worth much, but wait, can we afford to build a building there? We can, but we need money for Incantation of Tahoth, and we need money to build this thing, which is also going to be quite expensive. You know, let's wait another turn on it. Let's end the turn. I'm very curious to see who will come north. Alright, that little army appears to have disappeared. Malagor is suffering attrition, though we can't see him moving as yet. I wonder if he is gonna move. He didn't move last time. Maybe he was expecting to draw us in to chase him. But we didn't do that, so now he's just stuck there. Oh, there he goes. Let me guess. Yeah, want your peace, huh? There's no purpose to this, because he's going to just keep raiding our territory, so I'm going to decline. And, yeah, he's still just going to stand there. Very odd. It's almost like the AI is deliberately trying to waste our time by having us chase after him, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to bother with doing so. Alrighty, a Rite of Sotek performed great. The Scheme of Doom, Clan Pestilence, Scheme of... Pestilence Scheme on both of the other clans, and Faction Destroyed, yada yada yada. Constructor, great to have. And Rakash is ready, great. It looks like the Skaven be a schemin'. Alright, you are gonna head to the Sunken Kernark. And you're gonna leave Arkhan here by himself. Ah, hello. Somebody is gonna get an army up there. And Pyrrhic Victory, eh? Well, we're not gonna auto-resolve this, we're going to manually fight it. but we'll have to do so next episode, mostly just to preserve the units. Granted, if we auto-resolve it, we could probably just re-recruit them if we don't raise it. I'll think about it. Maybe we do it that way. Otherwise, Arkhan could go for Malagor, and he'd probably be able to reach him, but he'd waste a turn, and that he then wouldn't be moving northward for. And we do probably want to siege Death Gorge as fast as possible. Do you need replenishment? You do. We could try to hinder it, though it'll cost money. Anyway, I think with that, unfortunately, we are out of time. We got a lot of stuff to do next episode. Ah, there he is. Alright, so Kairos is indeed coming up, and we could try to attack him with Araru, though he has a full stack, and, ooh, Chaos Knights as well. And Araru's a little bit hurt. Though we could get Araru, the Great Incantation of Tahoth, Casket of Souls. That's a decent option as well. It would certainly help us against Kairos, though we'd have to protect it against the Furies and whatnot. And if we could defeat him, that'll make us a little bit safer. I don't like the fact that we can't see what's going on down here anymore by virtue of the fact that we no longer have any units down there. I'm almost tempted to send Hector down there instead, but he's also needed to scout up north. Otherwise, we got a few more turns until King Oyas. In fact, you know what? Just before ending this episode, we're gonna replace you with our new legendary king, King Rakash. Alrighty, and Rakash, let's just take a look at what you can do. So, you have control +2 immediately for all provinces, a little bit of extra income as well, and you have the passive curse ability, which is a direct damage in area, and a little bit of extra ward save and a higher character aura. In addition to that, you have a unique line, Plunderer of the East, immune to mountain attrition, vigor loss reduction, and speed for all armies faction-wide. Oh, lovely. It's always nice to get faction-wide stuff. Income from all buildings faction-wide, though at the cost of leadership. Wait, why would we lose leadership for this? Nehekara's wealth will return to the necropolis. Oh, it's because we're collecting tribute, I guess, so the skeletons get angry? The skeletons get angry. Okay, sure. A weapons strike for Lord's army at the cost of local income, and the rest doesn't look to be faction-wide, but there's some very nice buffs here. Oh, income from sacking settlements faction-wide as well, and a headhunter ability. Lovely. Looks like he's going to be a pretty strong lord. We'll have to figure out what exactly we want to do with him, as he doesn't directly buff any type of unit, although the weapon strength increase makes me think that should be pretty decent for various types of constructs. It could certainly work like that. We shall see, we'll have to figure this out. For now, he's going to be using this army at least until he goes north, grabs the Skull Island, and moves to transfer half of those units to Arkhan and the other half to spread out among the rest of our armies. Anyway, calling it here. Next time, possibly Kairos, possibly dwarfs, possibly more corn, definitely Malagor's army or Malagor's settlement. We shall see, but lots of great battles to come. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.